out and the kids are home for much of the day. For many parents, that can mean they're making more of a mess than what we're used to.
I think so too. But we could choose to spend our summer months working on chores with our kids. So Brianna Mittelsteadt is joining us from Red Door Pediatric Therapy with a couple ideas on that. And welcome to you, Brianna.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Great to have you here. I mean, I think we're all looking at ways to maximize our summer months. What is it about the summer, first of all, that you think is a good opportunity to kind of address some of these skills with your kids?
Yeah, as the child gets older and they're in school, sometimes chores aren't the first priority. So as the summer comes, they can build on these skills. And it's just appropriate to have and provide them with chores that are age appropriate for their age.
Okay.
So I guess too, I mean, we can break down the ages a little bit, and you know, at what age does letting a kid start the chores, what's the best age for that?
Yeah, so each age is different. So by the age of 5 to 7, a child should be able to pick up their belongings when asked. So being able to put them in the correct area or not need the assistance from a parent at this point. They should also be able to set and clear the table with some assistance. So maybe the parent sets out all the dishes and they can set the table and then grab the silverware and utensils that are needed for the meal.
That makes sense. They're tall enough to reach those things to be able to dump something into the sink without breaking it, hopefully, and that kind of thing. Okay, as you get a little bit older than that, age 8, what should you expect then?
By then, they should be able to set the table and clear it independently, as well as put their own laundry away. Even adults are bad at this, putting their laundry away. But by their age of 8, they should be able to have their clothes and put them in the drawer or hang them up in the closet with it already being folded by the parent or hung by the parent.
Mm-hmm. It definitely seems at this point, like as the kids get older and older, they're allowed to do or able to do a little bit more of a task. And by the age of 9, you're able to read, of course, so maybe you can write them down a little bit of a list.
Yes, and that's great. Writing a list for them to complete these independently builds a lot of skills. It builds some initiation skills, being able to sequence a task and being able to identify when the task is completed. Also, by this age, they should be able to dust independently. Again, not one of my favorite chores, as well as sweep. By the age of 10, they should be able to load and unload the dishwasher, as well as wash dishes and put them away by hand. Again, these are great skills for even the younger children to partake in as well. I know my 3-year-old does assist with unloading the dishwasher. So just because it says by 10 that they should be independent with it doesn't mean that they can't help at a younger age too.
Yeah, I imagine the earlier you get started with that, the more accepting you are probably of it as you get older too. Things aren't sprung on you as far as your duties around the house. Okay, so then we get a little bit older. How about age 11? What's going on there?
Yeah, 11, they should be able to vacuum independently, as well as like scrub and clean floors. With, today's age, we just tend to use like Roombas or really easy vacuums, but it's still an important skill to build as they grow up and maybe have to do that in their job and in their career. By 12 and 13, they should be able to fold and put the laundry away. So giving them a chore of doing towels, folding towels, or folding their laundry will be important to kind of build that skill. And then by the age of 14 to 18, they should be completely independent with all of their chores, getting them ready for that age, for that adulthood, including doing their own laundry.
Mm-hmm. At what point is it good to kind of release the child? Like you kind of teach them along the way, but hey, now it's time for you to put away the dishes all by yourself. How do you know when your child is ready for all of that?
You can kind of judge by watching their independence level. If you're having to be there every step of the way and providing them with cues to either put things in the correct area or be careful when putting things away, they might not be ready quite yet to be independent with that task, but being there to kind of guide them will be the best thing to do.
Okay, that's great advice too. We know we can ask kids to do something, doesn't always mean they're going to do it. So do you have some tips, some strategies we can use to make them successful with their chores?
Of course, yes. If those kiddos specifically are having troubles with the sequencing of their chores, things like visual supports are really, really helpful to make them more independent with their tasks. So So for instance, setting a table for a younger child, if they are, this might be really hard to see, but if they're struggling with identifying the items that they need to grab for the meal, having something like this visible for them might be really, really helpful and increase their success. Heidi, you had mentioned something about loading and unloading the dishwasher. If they're struggling with that sequencing piece of that, we also have visuals for both of those to just kind of help them sequence that task and make them successful as possible.
And how often should your kid do these chores too? I mean, there's a point where, you know, it's kind of lagging, but where can we get that success out of them? How often?
Yeah, you always want to make sure that you're setting the goal, an achievable goal. So think about your child, and are they motivated to complete one task a day or one or two tasks a day? Or are they motivated to be given a list in a weekly format? Again, making the goal achievable is going to be really important for carry through and follow through with all these chores and abilities. Think about using a visual support or a visual Velcro visual for these kiddos that are maybe sharing chores with their siblings and alternating the chores that you're giving them.
Okay, finally you've had positive reinforcement on that list, which I think is great too. So if we have some more questions about how to be successful with this or any other questions about our kids, how can we reach you guys?
Yes, we're located in Bismarck, Minot, and our Grand Forks locations. You can call us at 701-222-3175.
Fantastic. Brianna Mittelsteadt from Red Door Pediatric Therapy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Yes. Stay with us. North Dakota Today continues right after this.